As the electromagnetic spectrum has become a critical battleground in modern warfare, who would have thought that a Chinese carrier-based fighter jet, once constrained by inherent limitations, is now breaking free at an astonishing pace, challenging the decades-long dominance of Western powers on the silent battlefield. This breakthrough is not the result of a single leap forward, but rather the inevitable outcome of the combination of China's systematic military-industrial capabilities and strategic resolve. The Chinese Navy's pursuit of carrier-based electronic warfare capabilities began around 2016. At the time, leveraging the advanced electronic warfare technology already validated on the J-15D, they innovatively developed the world's only electronic warfare aircraft specifically designed for ski-jump takeoff aircraft carriers, the J-15DT. However, the stringent constraints of ski-jump takeoff act like a heavy shackle. To meet the strict takeoff weight limits, the J-15DT had to make painful sacrifices, with the number of electronic jamming pods it could carry halved to 2, resulting in a significant reduction in overall jamming power and spectrum coverage capabilities. For an electronic warfare aircraft, this is akin to tying one's own hands. More critically, due to takeoff energy constraints, it cannot carry full fuel and weapons for long-range suppression missions, severely limiting its combat radius and sustained jamming duration. It can only serve as a supplementary force for close-range defense within the carrier strike group, far short of the strategic requirements for a systematic electronic offense and defense system. A turning point arrived with the emergence of the Fujian aircraft carrier. The application of electromagnetic catapult technology has fully unlocked the potential of the newly developed J-15DT. The critical equipment that was previously sacrificed for weight reduction, high-performance receivers, high-power transmitter modules, and more complex signal processing units, has now been fully reinstated. The valuable mounting points under the wings and fuselage can now be fully loaded with electronic jamming pods of different frequencies and functions, while the cockpit is packed with the latest generation of avionics equipment and high-speed data processing systems. Thus, the J-15DT has finally achieved a full-scale revival. Its combat capability ceiling now depends solely on the core parameters of radar detection range, antenna sensitivity, avionics processing speed, and the absolute power and intelligence of the jamming system. The electromagnetic catapult on the Fujian aircraft carrier not only grants the J-15DT the ability to take off with full fuel and munitions but also revolutionarily enhances its mission flexibility. It can flexibly choose to carry more fuel to extend its airborne time for sustained suppression, or carry more diverse and powerful electronic warfare pods to address complex and dynamic threat environments, and even has the potential to carry anti-radiation missiles to execute hard-kill missions when necessary. In contrast, the U.S. Navy's current mainstay electronic warfare aircraft, the EA-18G Growler, was indeed unmatched when it entered service in 2009. At that time, China's J-15 prototype had only just completed its first flight. However, in the ruthless field of electronic technology, where new generations emerge every 3 to 5 years, the EA-18G has not undergone a true large-scale systemic upgrade over the past decade. While its core LQ-99 tactical jamming pod and a LQ-218V2 tactical receiver have seen minor improvements, their overall architecture and performance limits have long since fallen behind the pace of technological advancement. The LQ-99's large size and high power consumption make it ill-equipped to counter new active phased array radars and low probability of intercept radars. While the next generation jamming pod project holds great promise, its progress has been repeatedly delayed, and its deployment scale remains limited, meaning it cannot fundamentally alter the EA-18G's increasingly evident struggles against the most advanced threats in the short term. The U.S. Navy is well aware of this crisis. They are pinning their hopes on the highly digitized F-35C stealth fighter, aiming to have it share, or even replace some electronic warfare tasks, thereby achieving the ideal of distributed electronic warfare, where every aircraft in the carrier-based fighter squadron possesses a certain level of electromagnetic spectrum sensing and jamming capability. However, this concept overlooks a critical reality. China has demonstrated unprecedented determination and unwavering commitment in developing the next generation of carrier-based aircraft. The APG-81 radar integrated into the F-35C does indeed possess robust electronic warfare support capabilities and limited electronic attack capabilities. However, in terms of jamming power, spectral coverage width, and the ability to simultaneously engage multiple targets, it falls significantly short compared to specialized aircraft like the J-15DT or EA-18G. which are equipped with large external pods. It is more suited to serving as a sensing node within a system, or executing low-intensity accompanying jamming, rather than replacing specialized electronic warfare aircraft and carrying out high-intensity, large-scale electromagnetic suppression and destruction missions. This no-holds-barred approach is clearly evident in the development trajectory of China's new carrier-based aircraft, the J-15T. Developed for catapult-launched aircraft carriers, features a situational awareness suite, whose performance even surpasses that of the experienced J-16 land-based fighter, pushing the situational awareness capabilities of fourth-generation and-a-half fighters to the global forefront. The highly anticipated stealth carrier-based fighter J-35 directly adopts the proven advanced technologies from the J-20, including advanced active phased array radar, highly integrated avionics architecture, and advanced distributed electro-optical systems. While its stealth performance may slightly lag behind the F-35C, its information acquisition, processing, and countermeasure capabilities have achieved localized leadership. China's solid advantage in the rare earth supply chain often leaves the US struggling to keep up with hardware upgrades. This resource control directly translates into a hard advantage in equipment performance. Today, the fully operational J-15DT has joined the combat fleet, complemented by the J-600 carrier-based early warning aircraft, which has entered mass production and whose performance matches or even surpasses that of the U.S. Navy's E-2D Advanced Hawkeye. The three-dimensional, multi-layered electromagnetic warfare system established by China's Aircraft Carrier Strike Group has achieved comprehensive combat capabilities that rival the world's best. The J-600 is equipped with high-power active phased array radars and advanced electronic reconnaissance systems, enabling it to precisely detect enemy electromagnetic signal characteristics from hundreds of kilometers away, acting as an electromagnetic sentinel on the battlefield. It forms a perfect sensing strike closed-loop system with the J-15DT. Of course, it must be objectively acknowledged that China's aircraft carrier forces still have gaps in terms of practical combat experience. Whether it is the aircraft carrier's ability to sustain high-intensity continuous deployment, the coordinated sorties of multiple batches of carrier-based aircraft in complex maritime and airspace environments, or the art of swiftly adjusting and commanding carrier-based aircraft on the flight deck. These capabilities require continuous refinement and experience accumulation through more frequent distance sea training and exercises that closely simulate real combat scenarios. Electronic warfare particularly emphasizes the complexity and adversarial nature of real combat environments. How to maintain uninterrupted communication in command and high-intensity electronic warfare environments, and how to effectively identify and counter enemy electronic warfare tactics, all require constant refinement and validation in scenarios resembling real combat. The U.S. website The War Zone also keenly pointed this out in its analysis, and warned the U.S. military, if it cannot fully leverage the current window of opportunity, in terms of combat experience advantages, and accelerate the upgrading and iteration of its electronic warfare platforms, then being fully caught up with or even surpassed by China will merely be a matter of time. The emergence of the J-15DT is not merely the success of a single model upgrade. It signifies that China's carrier-based electronic warfare capabilities have completely broken free from the constraints of early-generation technical platforms, achieving a strategic leap from limited to fully operational, and represents a core component of the Chinese Navy's efforts to venture into the deep blue and build robust long-range combat capabilities. If the EA-18G remains stagnant within the design framework of over a decade ago, then in the not-too-distant future, the skies over the Western Pacific, where electromagnetic spectra are densely concentrated, may witness the arrival of an era where the Chinese Navy firmly controls the electromagnetic battlefield.